Let Pinky Anand respond to your charge that these are sweeping powers which can be misused not just in high-profile cases, Pinky Anand, but in not so high-profile cases as well, and the charge that the agency is more active against members of the opposition and completely inactive against those who are in the BJP?
Rahul, I think these kind of wide arguments that are made or propositions that are made challenging, let us say, an act which has been made to prevent something which is a heinous crime, something which affects the country, something which is illicit in its nature, and to say that it is used one way or the other, or that it is wide, I mean, all laws that take into account drastic activities, such as, I would include terrorism, such as security, such as the proceeds of PMLA, etc., are normally utilized towards fairly ill-gotten kind of situations. So the whole question here is of tracing, putting to rest, recovering back, and ensuring that the money doesn't go into the wrong hands. And for this purpose, if you have an act, and you are today judging, and there is a judgment on that, basically which holds that it is constitutional, I mean, the anxiety that people seem to have will always be there. You will always find similar objections against any of the laws that relate to anti-terrorism, that relate to anti-drugs, that relates to other provisions of similar nature. So therefore, these kind of apprehensions cannot be allayed. What is the argument always made? This is too draconian, it is too wide sweeping, it can be misutilized. Of course, law can always be misutilized. But does that mean you don't have a law? Does that mean you don't recover the ill-gotten gains? Does that mean you don't attach in pursuance of law simply because somebody unknowingly bought it, as Sanjay was saying? Somebody unknowingly buys a property, doesn't know it is tainted. It is tainted. It has to be attached. It has to be confiscated. Action has to be taken. The question of what are the consequences from illegality, you can't allow that to prevail further. Somewhere down the line, there has to be a balancing act, and that is what ultimately has been considered in the judgment.
No, but according to data put out by the government in the Parliament, but Pinky Anand, according to government data in Parliament, overall the ED has filed 992 prosecution complaints, resulting so far in the conviction of 23 accused people under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The opposition says, look at the conviction rates. Are many of these cases fishing expeditions against the accused? How do you respond to the charge by the opposition?
Rahul, do you know what the conviction rate in the country is vis-a-vis general crime? Is it much higher than 20%? So simply because we keep bringing out these figures, what happens to the conviction and what happens to the process of law is something that we need to sweep out of the carpet and to take action on that. Not to say because there are fewer convictions under PMLA as it stands, though frankly it's no comparison, any comparison to CRPC and other normal offences would show that there is a general problem in this respect of conviction. But the question is not only conviction, the question is of taking action during the pendency of illegal action. The question is of attaching the property. The question is of confiscating the property. Acquittal and convictions by themselves are a different basis altogether.